friend, comedian Amber Ruffin, has been fired as host of this year's White House Correspondents Dinner. The Correspondents Association president, Eugene Daniels, said the decision was made to take the focus off the politics of division and concentrate on honoring outstanding journalists. Well, some people, though, think that they got cold feet after Amber shared her plans for the event on the Daily Beast podcast. Take a look.
I'm not 100% interested in being like, ha, you're here, look at your stupid head, you're burned. I care, you're kind of a bunch of murderers. I mean, so like, they were like, you need to be, equal and make sure that that you give it to both sides and blah, blah, blah. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna be freaking doing that, dude. I think it's just that burns on Trump hurt badly. And then it trickles down to everyone who's around him, because y'all also guilty. So I think they got their feelings hurt. And they want that false equivalency that the media does. They want that. It feels great. It makes them feel like human beings. But they shouldn't get to feel that way because they're not.
It's a funny thing, free speech.
Yeah.
What do you think about the decision to drop her?
So at first, I thought the White House Correspondents Association were being a bunch of cowards, but then I watched that. And the most important thing that journalists need to do in this moment is be able to show that they can objectively, without fear or favor, cover this administration. And objectively is the key word. And for a lot of Americans, when there's record high distrust in the media, if you have them sitting in a room with somebody who basically said, Trump administration officials are subhuman, there were a bunch of murders, it adds to distrust in the press. It comes off as a kind of a tacit endorsement of what she's saying. And I think it's an important event to highlight good journalism. My worry is without having a comedian altogether, that will fall by the wayside and fewer people will tune in.
Why would go? I go for the funny part.
I actually support the decision, and I worked with most of the people in the White House Correspondents Association. Eugene Daniels is a very serious journalist, and I think it was actually the prudent decision.
Okay.
I disagree. I mean, it just seems to me that when you capitulate and give in to a bully, that bully will continue bullying you. It's like the schoolyard bully. If he takes your lunch one day, he's gonna take your lunch again. And so this White House has taken control of the White House Correspondents Association, many of its duties, including who's going to be in the press pool. Now they're rearranging the seats in the briefing room so that legacy media is gonna be in the back and some right-wing podcaster is gonna be in the front. I think that you stand united as a press corps and you do things that you've always done. I mean, this has been an association since 1921. And when you talk about false equivalency, there is a false equivalency. She's a comedian. She's not a journalist. And I think that it's a time-honored tradition. And I think, I know Eugene Daniels very well. I think he made the wrong call. I think he capitulated just like Chuck Schumer did.
Right.
I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed, first of all, because Amber Ruffin is really funny. Also, because Amber Ruffin is a Black woman and queer. And I think these are communities that feel that we're being erased, that, we're under attack. And so I think, having her there would have had a great significance. And also because this doesn't come in a vacuum, right? It comes after attack on the press. Right. And after we have seen media capitulating to him, and corporate America capitulating to him, and law firms capitulating to him. And so I think it's very disappointing to see all of these institutions bending a knee and giving in to the bully that is never going to give up bullying you because you've just emboldened and legitimized them. And it goes back to your point. We can't look at the institutions. We got to look at the people. Because everybody else in the institutions, academia, media, all of these things are afraid, but the people are the ones that have to show fearlessness and that have to guide us out of their very dark times.
I know that the White House Correspondents Association is separate from the administration, but I'm guessing in general you don't want to blow the place up when you show up. I was surprised they invited a comedian because his presidential run, Donald Trump, started as a joke was made at his expense. by President Obama at the time. I just don't think this is an administration with a lot of sense of humor. So I think in hearing kind of the direction she was going, this wasn't going to be a fun, like throwing it out at everyone in a room. That's why a lot of comedians work as hosts when it comes to Oscars, and they go after everyone. I would prefer it to be funny, and it sounds like this was going to be like a tinderbox. So,
well, and we should note that the Trump administration's boycotting the dinner. They're not attending. And also Eugene Daniels, the president of WACA, is a black gay man himself. So there is representation that is going to be there. He'll be chairing it and emceeing the event. But they're saying on journalism rather than the comedic event.
What do you think as a comedian?
Look, you know, as one who is often told, listen, you can't come do this. we can have you here doing this. You know, people make the decisions they make. I do want to say that when you chop up a comedian, whatever you think the comedian's going to do, until they do it, you don't know what they're going to do. The pre-chop of this is just another bad move in my mind, because we are already seeing people being stopped from saying what they think. One of the great things about being an American is you can say anything, anything. And if you can't take the heat, then you should not have started this fire. This is not, you know who Amber Ruffin is, something you said earlier today. You knew who she was. You know the kind of humor she does, and you know she doesn't go tiptoe lightly. So for y'all to have invited her and then going, we should stop that, seems to be, for me, another hack at free speech. Yeah. And that makes me more uncomfortable than anything.
Can I ask one thing, though? Because
yes, gotta do it quick.
Yeah, it wasn't a comedic bit there. I was very surprised to hear her say subhumor in your murders. Maybe say you've had actions that I don't think are humane, I think you've contributed to death.
But when you're talking to an interviewer, you're not doing your show.
Yeah.
You're answering the question. So she is very funny.
It might have been real funny.
It might have been much funnier than
You know what?
anybody thought.
She should come and do it here.
Amber, you've been invited.